What is up, everyone? It's your girl, WR, and welcome back to my channel. So, let's get real for a second. How many of you have typed how to lose weight fast into a search bar at 2 in the morning while simultaneously eating a bag of chips? Yeah, me too. I've been on that roller coaster. I've tried the crazy diets, the ones that tell you to only eat cabbage or, I don't know, survive on sunlight and good vibes. And you know what? They don't work. They just make you miserable and obsessed with that one cookie you're not allowed to have. So today, we're throwing that whole idea out the window. This video is not a diet plan. Let me repeat for the people in the back. No, dieting. Instead, I want to share something that actually worked for me. I'm talking about the 7 simple personal habits that helped me lose weight naturally, feel more energetic, and honestly, just feel better in my own skin without all the drama. These aren't rules carved in stone. They're just little tweaks and adjustments I made to my daily life. Think of it less like a strict boot camp and more like upgrading your life's operating system from chaos to heck yeah. We're not about restriction, we're about addition. Adding good things in, not just cutting bad things out. And trust me, if a professional procrastinator and snack enthusiast like me can do this, so can you. The whole point is to show you that you don't need a massive, life-altering overhaul to see a real change. Sometimes, the smallest shifts create the biggest waves. It's about building a lifestyle you actually enjoy living, not one you're just trying to survive until your cheat day. So, grab a notebook, or just your amazing brain, and let's get into the habits that changed the game for me. Alright, first up, the most underrated superhero in the wellness world. Water. I know, you've heard it a million times, drink more water. Groundbreaking, right? But yo, for real, hear me out. I used to be the person who would go an entire day fueled by one coffee and sheer willpower. I'd feel sluggish, my head would hurt, and I'd constantly mistake my body's cry for hydration as a signal to inhale an entire pizza. My body was screaming, "I'm thirsty," and I was like, did someone say extra cheese? It was a classic case of crossed signals. So I made a conscious effort to up my water game. I got myself a giant, obnoxious water bottle. You know the one, it's practically a personal hydration tank. And I made it my new best friend. I carried it everywhere. And a funny thing happened. The more water I drank, the less I found myself reaching for random snacks. Those 3 p.m. cravings that used to hit me like a truck, they started to fade. It was like I was finally giving my body what it was actually asking for. Plus, my energy levels went through the roof. I felt less like a zombie and more like a functioning human being. It's simple, it's free, and it's life-changing. Habit number 2 is all about moving that glorious body of yours. But hold up, I'm not talking about spending 2 hours at the gym every single day. My big secret? I started walking. That's it, just walking. I used to think that for exercise to count, I had to be sweating buckets, on the verge of collapsing, and hating every second of it. That all-or-nothing mindset meant I usually chose nothing. I'd make excuses. I don't have time, the gym is too far, I don't have the right clothes. It was a whole saga. Then I decided to just add a walk to my day. Sometimes it was a 15-minute walk around my neighborhood during my lunch break. Sometimes it was a longer 45-minute stroll in the evening while listening to a podcast or calling my mom. There was no pressure. The goal was just to get outside and move. It became my me time, a chance to clear my head, get some fresh air, and disconnect from my screens. And slowly but surely, I noticed a huge difference. Not just on the scale, but in my mood and my mental clarity. It proved to me that consistency with something small is way more powerful than doing something huge every once in a while. Okay, let's talk about food. Specifically, how I eat my food. This one was a game changer. I was the queen of distracted eating. I'd eat my lunch while answering emails, eat dinner while watching a thriller on Netflix, and eat snacks while scrolling through my phone. I would finish a whole meal and barely remember tasting it. My brain was so busy processing other things that it didn't get the memo that my stomach was full. So, 10 minutes later, I'd be back in the pantry, looking for something else because I didn't feel satisfied. So I started practicing what people call mindful eating. It sounds super fancy, but all it really means is paying attention. I made a rule for myself. When I eat, I just eat. No phone, no laptop, no TV. I started to actually taste the flavors, notice the textures, and chew my food properly instead of inhaling it like a vacuum cleaner. I started listening to my body's signals. Am I actually hungry, or am I just bored? Am I full now? It was weird at first, but it made me appreciate my food so much more. And because my brain was actually registering the meal, I felt full and satisfied with less food. It's like I was finally having a real conversation with my body. Okay, so this next one is the habit I think we all secretly want to be good at: sleeping. For years, I wore my lack of sleep like a badge of honor. You know, like, oh, I only got 4 hours last night, I'm so busy, so productive. But in reality, I was just a walking, talking disaster waiting to happen. Being sleep-deprived didn't just make me cranky and unfocused, it actually wrecked my whole system. My body would go into panic mode, and what does a panicked body crave? Quick energy. In other words, sugar and carbs, and lots of them. So, I made a conscious decision to prioritize my sleep. And I mean, really treating my bedtime like it's the most important meeting of the day. Because honestly, it is. I started creating a wind-down routine, putting my phone away an hour before bed, maybe reading a book, or just doing some light stretching. I aimed for 7 to 8 hours a night, consistently. The difference was night and day, literally. When I was well-rested, my metabolism actually had a chance to do its job properly. I wasn't constantly fighting cravings for junk food, and I had the mental energy to make better choices throughout the day. Turns out beauty sleep is real, but it's not just for your face, it's for your entire body's well-being. Let's be honest, ordering takeout is easy, it's convenient, and sometimes it's exactly what you need. But for a while there, it was my default setting for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The problem is, when someone else is making your food, you have zero control. You don't know how much oil, salt, or sugar is really in there. Even seemingly healthy options from restaurants can be packed with hidden calories and ingredients that leave you feeling bloated and sluggish. It's a total mystery box, and my body was paying the price. So I started cooking at home more. And listen, I am not a gourmet chef. My early attempts were questionable. There were some burnt pans and some very bland chicken. But I started simple. I'd find easy recipes online, I'd meal prep some basics like grilled chicken and roasted veggies on a Sunday, so I had healthy options ready to go for the week. It gave me complete control over what I was putting into my body. I could use healthier oils, load up on spices instead of salt, and pack my meals with way more vegetables than any takeout place ever would. It was empowering, saved me a ton of money, and honestly, I started to really enjoy the process of creating my own delicious, healthy meals. Okay, this habit might be a tough pill to swallow for some, but it made one of the most immediate and noticeable differences for me. I had to break up with sugary drinks. I was a huge fan of fancy coffees loaded with syrup, iced teas that were more sugar than tea, and the occasional soda. I didn't even think of them as part of my diet. They were just drinks. I was consuming hundreds of empty calories and massive amounts of sugar every day without even realizing it, and it was doing a number on my energy levels, my skin, and my waistline. The switch was surprisingly simple. I didn't go cold turkey overnight. First, I just started cutting back. I'd ask for half the syrup in my latte. Then I'd switch a soda for a sparkling water with a squeeze of lime. Eventually, I got to a place where my go-to drinks were water, black coffee, or unsweetened tea. And let me tell you, once I cut out that constant stream of liquid sugar, my energy became so much more stable. I stopped having those intense sugar crashes in the afternoon, and I felt so much less bloated. It's wild how much of a difference this one small change can make. It's like I removed this invisible anchor that was weighing me down. This last habit is a little different because it's not about what you eat or how you move. It's about what's going on up here. I'm a classic emotional eater. Stressed? Let's eat a pint of ice cream. Sad? A bag of chips will fix it. Bored? Let's see what's in the fridge. My emotions were completely dictating my eating habits, and it was a cycle that was really hard to break. I was using food as a coping mechanism for everything, and it wasn't solving any of my problems. It was just creating new ones. So, I started focusing on managing my stress and practicing gratitude. Instead of reaching for food when I felt overwhelmed, I'd try something else first. I'd take 5 deep breaths, I'd go for one of my walks, I'd call a friend, or I'd write down what I was feeling. I also started a simple gratitude practice. Every night before bed, I'd write down 3 things I was grateful for that day. It sounds cheesy, but it genuinely rewired my brain to focus on the positive instead of dwelling on the negative. By managing my stress in healthier ways, I took away food's power over me. It became just fuel and enjoyment again, not a crutch. So there you have it. Those are the 7 habits that helped me transform my relationship with food, my body, and my overall health without ever going on a diet. This journey wasn't about a dramatic before and after picture. It was about the daily process of choosing to do small things that made me feel good. It was about building myself up, not tearing myself down. And I want to be super clear, please don't feel like you have to go out and implement all 7 of these things tomorrow. That's just setting yourself up for failure, and we are not about that life. My advice? Just pick 1. Or maybe 2 if you're feeling ambitious. Pick the one that sounds the easiest or the most appealing to you right now. Maybe it's just buying a big water bottle and carrying it with you. Maybe it's adding a 10-minute walk to your lunch break. Start small, be ridiculously kind to yourself, and focus on being consistent. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Results won't happen overnight, but I promise you, if you stick with it, you will start to feel the difference. You're building a foundation for a healthier, happier you, one little habit at a time. And now, I want to hear from you. This is a community, and we all learn from each other. What are some of your healthy habits? Is there something you do every day that makes you feel amazing? It could be anything. Share it down in the comments below, because your tip could be the one thing that helps someone else get started on their own journey. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.